tutorial, I'll briefly make an Illustrator document composed of a few simple shapes, export it, bring it into Photoshop, and then we'll be ready to animate it. First, I'm going to make a couple of shapes, make a star here. I have no stroke, but I do have a fill. It's up to you what you want to do. I'm going to click, drag this down, then Control C, Control V, we'll copy and paste your shape, and I'm going to put one on this side as well. And I'm going to want to group my shapes together before I export this document, so I will click on my direct selection tool, click one star, hold down Shift, and then click the other star, let go, and then once both stars are selected here, we're going to go up to Object and then say Group. Control G is the shortcut. Then we will go to File and go down to Export. And I'm not going to say that this is a DWG, a CAD drawing. We want to save it as a Photoshop document or a .psd, which is right here. And I'll just save this to a folder. I'm going to save it to my desktop, but you should save it to a folder where you remember where it is and you can have access to it later. So I'm going to say Export, and CMYK is just fine, and all of these presets are okay. I'm going to say OK. It's going to write the Photoshop file. I'm going to click my Windows button, click Photoshop, open up Photoshop however you know how. I'm going to say File, Open. I'm going to go to my desktop here, and then I'm going to find it. It was Sample. All right. And there we have it. The nice thing about exporting, let's get out of that crop feature. Don't crop. The nice thing about exporting a document from Illustrator to Photoshop is that if we just saved it as a JPEG, we wouldn't be able to go in and individually edit all of the components that we created in Illustrator. But if you see here, the file comes over as a folder, and if we drop down here, we have different layers or different components. I don't need the rectangle, I just need the group here. And I am going to next then create a new layer that I will click and drag underneath my group. And again, if your group isn't showing up, you're going to click this play button that's right to the left of this little folder that's left of layer 1. And I'm going to be on layer 2 right now, and I'm going to rename that background. You can choose any background color you want, but first you're going to want to make a selection. With your selection tool here, just click and drag, and you can find your paint bucket tool, which will be behind the gradient tool. Double click your foreground color, choose a background, make sure that you have the background layer highlighted, and then click and fill in your background. Remember, Photoshop won't really let you do anything if anything is selected, so you're going to hold down Control and then click D for deselect. And this is how you export an Illustrator document, import it into Photoshop, create a background, and then get it ready for animation.